Welcome to the genealogy chat group here, folks. David's driving the dashboard here, and I'm going to present a little bit, just a tiny little bit, about some of our nearby um, Kentucky historical and/or genealogical societies. Hope I won't bore you guys. I'll try not to take too long. And then we'll have regular questions and chats and things like that. I It's a beautiful Saturday. Wish we could have these outside, but that'd be great. But uh, there's something really important. And I probably should leave this to last or repeat it. But before you visit any of these historical societies, y'all probably already know that it's a good idea to call them, check their websites, make sure their hours, especially, of course, with this quarantine business we've got going on now. But anytime it's a good idea just to check and make sure something unusual didn't happen, that somebody's, going to be there when you show up, especially if you're driving a long distance for any of these. Life is unpredictable sometimes. So, well, let's see. Here we go. So, we're just talking about the a few of the counties. I had to choose among my children, and it was really, really hard. I was at first only going to get five, and I think I'm up to nine. But like I say, it's really hard. We could talk about so many of the really fine history or genealogical societies that are in the counties. Some of them depend on their public library for meeting spaces. Some of them have their own space. I mean, they've got so many different configurations. Um, but most of them have websites with some kinds of resource links to offer. So if you're interested in a county and trying to find some resources for ancestors that may or may not have been there, um, it's good to always check any genealogy. I just Google when I'm working out of state, genealogy, history. But Kentucky, I'm proud to say, has got quite a few societies online, either all on their own or under the Roots Web or US Gen Web. And so we're going to start off by talking today about Scott County, Bourbon County, Madison, Estill County, which is a small one, but it's fun. Jessamine County, and I had to put a something in about our Lexington History Museum. Um, of course, public libraries are usually good places to go for resources. I wouldn't say all of them throughout the nation have got history and genealogy resources, but a great many do. Um, and that's just great. So when we start here with Scott County up there in Georgetown, um, I've given you a little information on these slides, but I believe we're going to put on our genealogy club page a list of all of these and more, the ones I couldn't talk about. So if you want to contact them through a website that you trust, I checked all of these, or if you want to call them, it'll be a handy little list if that serves your purposes. Otherwise, you can just go out on the web and find them. Scott County Genealogical Society has its meetings there in Scott County, and they get together and use a lot of their resources. They've got quite a nice website, as you can see. David's going to push it up there. Do we see it yet?
Well, I'm going to post the links.
Oh, you're going to post the links. Oh, okay. I was going to take a look then at my browser. Oops. Sorry, guys. There we go. Um, they have quite a few links of that they may have come up with some of the information themselves or people over the years. They're continuing to add and work on projects. Of course, during this unusual time, this is the last time I'm going to say it, uh, you may not be able to call and get a hold of somebody, or of course, the meetings are probably suspended until we open up. But there probably will be posted something up here when they're able to hold meetings again. And they've got a nice little website about um, Scott County. This is for their cemeteries. They're kind of close, and so many people lived on farms that they established close to the Fayette County, Scott County line. Um, that it's always a good thing to go and check to see what county your ancestor may have been from. Okay. The next county I'm going to look at is Bourbon County. It's got a lot of offerings, actually, from a very fine public library there at the Paris, Bourbon County. Mm-hmm.
Denise, you might need to refresh your web browser.
Oh, did it die?
Yeah, I think
See something?
maybe just go to the Bourbon County page again.
Oh, me. Okay. This is such a learning curve. It's so much fun.
It's okay.
Let's share. Yeah. Just okay. There. Now that's Scott. There's Bourbon County.
There you
All right.
go.
Now we're seeing something. So, what Paris and Bourbon County have to offer is just amazing. There's the Hopewell Museum. That'll be on that list that David's pushing to you. And they've got an interesting little yearbook collection for Bourbon County, Paris County high schools, middle schools. I believe whatever was before middle school when it goes back, I think, into the 20s. And then, of course, there's the Genealogical Society website that it's on that list. It seems to be kind of a virtual genealogy society. It's at sites on RootsWeb, and that link will lead you to their webpage. They've got a lot of interesting links to family records, Bibles, and things like that. So that's very helpful. But the one I wanted to talk about was the John Fox Library. It's located on the first floor of Duncan Tavern. And it, of course, specializes in literature about that John Fox had. I mean, he was a early on notice. We always talk about James Lane Allen. Well, John Fox was born in Paris and then moved. But they've claimed him. They also have a lot of cemetery records, really nice offerings. I believe they're affiliated, aren't they, Sarah, with the DAR? And yeah, David, yep, they are. And so their research, I always feel a little better when it's from DAR.
The Duncan Tavern, they've done quite a bit of restoration in the past several years. I've heard it's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been, but
it was a private home way back in the day, and then now you can go, and when we're past social distancing and all, they've got the restaurant there. Can't you stay there?
I know they have the restaurant. I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm not sure if they had like a small B&B.
Nice little day trip, though.
Yes, it would. I may be mixing that up about B&B because we have our friends down in Korea that have something like that. But it's a nice uh, place to go visit, and they do have a lot of records. Going on to Madison County Historical Society, which I want to share that website. Let's hope. Here we go. Cross your fingers. Huh? Just takes me a while sometimes. Madison. Um, they offer meetings and educational um, materials, resources. Um, if you can attend some of their meetings, of course, I think they had to cancel Harry's presentation April 16th, and I'm not sure if they're gonna.
Screen.
Pardon?
We still have the gray screen.
Oh, you do?
I think you'll just have to maybe refresh because your browser was up and then it
How's
just
that? Does that work?
not yet.
Not seeing what you're seeing. You know, we worked on this, and I thought all I have to do is
That's your
share,
browser. We see your browser now.
and I don't want that. Um, that Internet Explorer new version
Okay.
jumping in and messing me up. Why? Keeps trying to go through that. Oh well, I may just go back to my content, folks.
Sure.
And so Madison County they meet there in the public library. The public library has got quite a few materials. I believe if they're the ones I remember, they have the uh, persons you can make an appointment with, and they'll come and talk with you about whatever your research project is. Um, it's part of their volunteers bag of tricks. Um, Estill County, I wanted to include a small kind of out of the way genealogy society. They're a combination of history and genealogy, and they also offer quite a few fun family activities. So it's a nice little day trip, especially once we get to where we can travel within Kentucky. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of going stir crazy. And so this might be a nice fun little thing once we are able to. Until then, give them a call if you've got research targets from Estill County or they're around. Um, they're nice people.
Is Berea in Madison County?
Yes, Berea is.
Okay.
Berea is in Madison County as well. And of course, down at Berea College, Sharon would get me if I didn't give her a mention. They've got the special library for the history of not only Berea College but Madison County. And oh, what is the name of that, Jonna? You know, mm, it's flipped my mind right now, but
Unmute me. Hutchins
Hutchins.
Library.
Yes,
Special collections.
that's right. And it's got a lot of information on alumni. If you have any ancestors that went through Berea College in one way or another, that might be a good place to go and look. Let's see. Jessamine County, down to our south, if they've got their own little building, and they are very helpful when it comes to giving individuals um, tips on what materials they have or where they might find them. They've got really good volunteer specialists. Um, they're very active in the community as well, uh, and they're just good people to deal with. Um, Jessamine County and Fayette County have just, been really close. Of course, Jessamine County broke off was formed from Fayette County almost immediately, as so many of the counties around were. Uh, that if you have relatives that live close to either the county line of any of these, you probably want to go and find the parent county. And most of you already know this, I'm sure. But it's nice to have these historical societies. And of course, remember the county clerk's offices. Those courthouses have a lot of records if they haven't had any misfortune to be having a fire or a flood or some other disaster. And as I said, I couldn't leave out the Lexington History Museum. It's new and they have just been stalwarts. They are persevering through all sorts of challenges. They used to be in the old courthouse, but of course it got renovated, and now they've got pocket museums and several places around town. But I thought the main reason I wanted to include them is because while we're all in the house and we're getting cabin fever, it might be fun to take one of their virtual tours. They have a lovely setup. I would love to bring up the website and share it with you. But apparently all you'll see is a gray screen. Sorry about that. Just go to the lexhistory.org and poke around that website. They've got this 360 software that will make you dizzy. You can look around the room and it's really very nice. It's maybe not as good as being there, but at least it gives you a good flavor and time, give you a little time. And so these are like, individual counties and what they have to offer. I just kind of, when I'm working with other states, just like I did here, I just do a general Google search and go through all the ads for ancestry and genealogy trails and this, that, other. But eventually, I try to find the local people who are volunteers. They know their stuff very well. I really like those. So now my focus is changing to the more general groups that are all over Kentucky. And one of my very favorites is the African American Genealogy Group of Kentucky. They have got educational offerings in the form of speakers and presentations, links online. They get together, and right now they're Zooming because of so many of us, they are available online on the third Saturdays at 1 o'clock. Unfortunately, right now they're conflicting with us, but hopefully not for too much longer. They help individuals with research projects. So if you have need to look at any of material about African American ancestry in the United States, this is a great place to go for some advice and help. And just really nice folk. Also, the very nice folk that many of us are love in the Kentucky Genealogy Society. They are the ones who sponsor those second Saturday programs at the Clark History Center at downtown Frankfort. And they also have family Bible links. If you're a member, you can get to so much. I don't think it's very expensive to become a member. What's 30? What is it? $30?
$20 a year for an individual, 25 if you want to donate 5 towards projects, and then it goes up to household prices.
I was thinking households because
You
but oh my, it's a wonderful website, and you can look at the archived second Saturdays. If you miss one that was of particular interest to you, you can always check them out there. Do you get them all up, Jonna?
If the presenter allows for us to record, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Oh, WYSIWYG then, but still.
When you have a person who is not trained to be a camera person trying to wing it, me,
Me.
sometimes the quality is not as good as it should be,
Oh.
but they're there, and there's some good stuff there.
Mhm. Sometimes just the audio presentation helps if so many of us are new to all this technology, but we're learning, aren't we?
Mhm.
And then of course, KGS meets in the building at the 100 West Broadway site, which is the building for the Kentucky Historical Society. And the Martin F. Schmidt Library upstairs is well worth the $8 entrance fee. They have got family files, and it's like beware. You might get some clues, you might get some real help. They've also got records, books, oh, just all sorts of media that, of course, it pertains to Kentucky. And
Family history files.
yes, they're just cabinet after cabinet of that. Anybody know how many cabinets there are? Last time I was there, they were on a whole wall.
No idea. It's
Yeah,
thousands, I'm sure.
yes, and good people there that can give some help to you. Um, the thing I like about that place also, history and genealogy go hand in hand, and so often they have such interesting exhibits down in the museum, and you never know when something might, strike a chord with the ancestor if your folks are from Kentucky for very long. This is a great site. Okay, so here's what we've discussed today. And again, this list with more information will be put out on our chat. Um, are there any questions, comments?
Sometimes when you go to the smaller county historical societies or even larger ones, you can really luck out, and there's a call ahead. But if you might just ask some questions, and that person's a complete expert on that county, and they can tell you just off the top of their head where all these cemeteries are and potential place. Sometimes you can really luck out.
Yes. Yeah, you just never know what.
It's always worth a try.
Hmm. Plus, especially now, I'm ready for road trips. I'm ready to go and visit every one of them of the 120 counties.
Exactly.
Uh, oh, can't wait till we open up.
Join the county, not only where you live, so you can network and brainstorm with people and have a genealogy buddy, but join places where your ancestors lived. Little Clintwood, Virginia, which might have a population of 12, I don't know how, it's teeny tiny. But their historical society is in a double wide that is packed to the gills with stuff. And they know so much about the county history, and they know everybody in the county. And I go and spend a couple days a year there just talking, not even researching, just talking with people.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. They can tell you where those hidden cemeteries are too, I bet.
No, that's the old men at the Hardee's having breakfast that can tell you where cemeteries are.
So definitely visit the Hardys, huh?
Anybody else?
Be sure to buy coffee for everybody at the Hardee's.
Yes.
Uh,
Very nice group of people who have retired and they just hang out at the Hardee's all morning long till lunchtime.
sounds like a life.
What about going to different colleges to I mean, how
Yes.
I've actually contacted Asbury College, but haven't gotten a response through email. But I mean, I'm also interested in Midway when it was Kentucky Female Orphan School.
Oh,
I mean, and I did go there many years in '92 with my dad, but that's before all this internet stuff because his mother had gone there. And we found out they were very nice. But I mean, is it okay just to show up and
well,
just?
yes.
That's what we did that day. It just seems like an imposition. I mean, you were saying that Berea had a lot of information on their graduates. I just wondered.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. And not just on their graduates, they may have a special collections of particular like family papers or documents that you just never know when your ancestors are going to show up in some of that. Universities and colleges are an excellent place to go. Go to their websites and do a little poking around before.
Okay, that's a good idea.
And that a little prep work, at least find out where you can park and won't be towed, or just to get familiar with the area. That's just the way I like to do before I go. But absolutely, the county courthouses, any of the institutions in the area that have existing libraries, um, whether the colleges and universities, absolutely. They're one of the staples. We couldn't do genealogy without our special collections at UK or
Yeah, it never hurts to call ahead, especially when you're dealing with like a special collection or something. They may not have staff, working there the whole time. Also, especially when you get to larger universities, they may store the materials at an off-site location, so it might take time, to get the materials for you. So it's always a good idea to call ahead, even like Denise said, for parking, just so you'll know where you can go and not get your car towed.
Yeah, UK special collections usually takes 2 to 4 days to fulfill requests. So, yeah, I'd recommend if you're doing specific research, I would always recommend calling ahead. And a lot of times that way, when we have people call in to us asking for particular types of records or particular family things, not only are we dealing with it in the phone call, but if they're coming in, we can prep things or keep thinking about it or talk to people that we think may have more information. So a lot of times it'll be a better quality interaction on the customer end. And just so you know, we've digitized the history of the Kentucky Female Orphan School. I did pop the link
Yeah,
into the
sounded
chat.
good. Okay.
So, and that goes up to 1930, but it has lists of names of the kids.
Yeah, I mean, when I went there in '92 with my dad, we just went there and they got out the big, they found her record, they found her listing in like 1901 and they just Xeroxed these huge pages and they were really helpful, but it was sort of very disorganized and it was very spur of the moment.
oh, but that was precious. Those were treasures to
Yeah.
get a hold of. Yeah. Wonder what else they might have.
I know, that's what I'm wondering. I think I need to go back.
And just be aware, some of these libraries have really strange rules. Don't fight them on them. Just nod your head and smile and gripe to your buddy. The one down in Blumpville, Tennessee, won't let you wear anything with zippers.
Oh
Wow.
my
You can't
gosh.
wear jeans or a jacket.
Why is that?
I don't know why they don't let you wear zippers, but it's not my place to say that's a stupid rule and I'm not following it.
Jonna, which library did you go to where they only permitted a certain number of Xerox pages per day?
I drove from here to Whitesburg over in Jenkins County. I had called to make sure the book was on the shelf and that they had a copier that I could copy the book. I get over there, I take rolls of quarters with me. And I get over there, we can't find the book. We finally find it on their reference desk where it hadn't been put up in 2 weeks. And they didn't tell me the copier was behind the desk and they were only willing to copy 10 pages. So I got in the car and drove over to Mama's, and then we went to a different library and copied the whole book.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, occasionally, I guess that's gonna happen sometime,
Yes.
depending on the person at the desk, even sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, uh, as long as you get some of your information after you've driven all that way, I'm glad it worked out. But yeah, now we're gonna scare people.
I love a good road trip. I've driven all over the country to copy a book.
I think I grew up here, but I lived in California for a long time. But I think people in Kentucky are just so friendly, and really will talk to you about things if they know anything. It's just part of the way most people are here. Everybody likes to tell their version of the history, and you get lots of versions. It's sort of like telephone or something.
Oh,
Some of the books are copyrighted and they won't let you copy.
Yeah.
mhm.
That's why our copiers are out on the floor at the library, so that what we don't know won't hurt us.
You could also use your cell phone to take
Mhm.
pictures.
Yes, that's probably better for the books, really, the materials, and you too.
Yeah, and you're not going to have to worry about breaking a spine.
Yeah.
Or
If I can recommend when you're making copies of a book or whatever, the first shot you should take should be the title page
amen.
so that you will remember which book you were looking at with these random images.
And also, while we're talking about just taking pictures with their phone, a lot of people don't know that, now there are great apps you can get for scanning documents with your phone, and you can make really good reproductions, better than just taking a picture. So that's also, you can create PDFs with your phone and stuff like that.
Wow.
Can you name some of those apps?
Yeah, if you have iPhone, I just use the Notes app
Uh-huh.
that's in the native app to the phone. And then you can just go to if you want to find others, you can go to just go to the App Store.
I use an app called Cam Scanner that is really easy to use, and it allows you to do some editing to the image. Like you can either take a picture or you can make a scan, and it will take like a page that, when you open a book, there's like a wave of the page as it comes out of the center of the book and out to the edge. It will flatten that and straighten it to make it an actual readable page. And then I've also noticed if you're using microfilm and you have a microfilm that's really dark, and no matter what you do, you can't make a good photocopy of it. If you take a picture of what's on the screen, you typically get a better image of whatever you're trying to print out.
It is a courtesy
Better.
to ask. It usually is a courtesy to ask if the library minds if you take pictures when you're there. But like I was at the Library of Congress a few years ago, and I asked if I could take a picture of a document, and she said, "Well, not really, but if it's just laying there on the table and you have your phone out, I can't really stop you, so."
Great. One thing I love about taking a picture with my camera phone, I can then enlarge it so I can read it. It just it is a great deal of help lately. So it's lovely to be able to turn it into a PDF, but yeah, when you can enlarge it and
One of the things I've done, I took pictures of documents at the Lincoln County Library, and when I got home, downloaded them to my computer, and then I could brighten or lighten or adjust the colors and read it better and make it look better.
The thing that you can try doing if the quality is not very good is try inverting it. Sometimes if you have text that's not showing up very well or kind of fuzzy, if you turn it from black letters on a white background to white letters on a black background, sometimes that can help it kind of pop a little bit better.
Yeah, I was thinking about if I wanted to print, if the color was very dark where the paper had aged, it would use a lot of my toner, or make it the same color.
But you can lighten that. So
Right.
yes, with the
Did you just use the phone? I'm sorry, the camera app on your phone? Because there are other more advanced free apps like Snapseed is one of them, and it has more functionality for lightening, darkening, that sort of thing. Almost like a free Photoshop.
Photoshop.
Yeah,
Oh.
called Snapseed. I use that a
No,
lot.
the regular camera that's on the phone. Actually, it's my iPod, but it's like a phone.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's an app. You could, there are apps you can download, and they may have more features for like the kind of stuff you're talking about.
Well, a lot of times, if it's possible, the single best thing that you can do is if you can adjust where you're taking the photo, making sure that your light is very good. Natural light will be the best light for a better quality image, but that's not always possible, especially in an archive.
They tend to be in dark basements.
And this is to change the topic a little bit. When you go to these genealogical societies, even though they don't require an entrance fee or to use their facilities, do think about giving them a donation of some sort, because they do need money and they get very little from memberships in these surrounding counties.
Yeah, especially if they gave you like the secret to your tree you've been looking for 20 years. At least throw them $5, you know.
Something. Yeah.
Or think about sending them, and I used to carry food in, but in this day and age, it's for staff treats. To give the staff some chocolate or something. But in this day and age, I'm not sure about taking candy from strangers. I send them like an edible arrangement or something along those lines as well.
I guess gift cards to the local Hardee's or
There you go.
I don't know.
It depends on how good your interaction was with them.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone helps you, don't try to hand them cash. Just put it in the donation box. It's awkward.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Or you can, as staff person, sometimes I'll just graciously accept, and then I'll go and put it in our old box we've got in the Kentucky room, and it's
We have a handy little box there, and we just put them all in there.
many places do, I've noticed as I've gotten around. Yeah. Anything over $5 you have to turn over, huh? Fortunately, our box goes to the foundation, and it's fairly easy. We've got a good conduit at LPL, at Lexington Public Library. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to talk about, there are some, maybe some previous genealogy or historical society is no longer with us. They're defunct. But they may have left behind either published or even handwritten or some kinds of records and papers. Like, for instance, here in our Kentucky room at Central Library, we have the old Fayette County Genealogical Quarterly. And that has been a great deal of help over the years to people, especially before we had the cemeteries map, because that was the source for a great deal of cemetery information. So archived materials might be in, say, a local college or university. So That's another thought. If they've passed on. What else?
These are all great questions. Looking ahead to next week, we'll meet again. I'm going to do an overview of some of the more popular DNA testing companies, about 4 or 5 of them, and attempt to answer any questions you have related to that. So be thinking about that for next week. Did anybody have anything else today they want to talk about? This has been fun, as always.
Nice getting together. Yeah, it's good to see people.
Thank you all for doing this.
Yeah, it's fun for us. It's not even work for us. I mean,
Thank you for joining us. I hope some of it was helpful a little bit.
get some sunshine. Go out and get some sunshine now.
We can go out.
Your front yard.
Thank you. See you,
Thank you.
Naomi.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks a lot.
good. All right. Bye. Oh, you're welcome.